to finish that Van Jones clip in the next segment as we get Richard Gage on to get into 9/11 Truth. Also, coming up in the next segment, I want to comment briefly on Barack Obama wanting to address the youth. He's been very, very deceptive, and that's the plan. But before I do that, I just want to give all the listeners a heads up. Not tomorrow, but Tuesday, we're going to have something really important happen on the show. And it is the biggest thing we've ever done on this radio show. The most important, the most effective, the most far-reaching. And it's guaranteed to be out by Tuesday. If I get spooked by anything or anything goes on, I'm going to launch it simultaneously on other servers, other places, early. It's ready. In fact, if certain people don't hear from me on a routine basis, it's launched everywhere. So just be ready for that anytime in the next 48 hours, really less now. Anytime in the next 35 hours or so. 35 to 40 hours. It's very important. It's going to be big. And just keep your eyes and ears peeled for that coming up. Also, and it's not related to the flu, separately, the flu. To have the companies' filings in their patents, talking to governments about releasing weaker versions of the virus into the atmosphere as a type of group herd immunity for our own good. And then, oh my gosh, it actually mutates into something more deadly, and they've got a vaccine for you, and the World Health Organization is just admitting this calmly. We've got to force this out into the media as a major issue. We've got to do this now. This is of paramount importance. And so we're working on those stories as well. And then there's other tidbits of important news, like Obama regulation czar advocated removing people's organs without explicit consent, Cyber News Service. And it's got his quotes. Ties into all the other eugenics. Taliban bombs came from U.S., not Iran. It's now admitted that the Sunnis in Iraq have been given bombs to bomb our own troops. That's been declassified. It's been declassified. The Taliban and Al-Qaeda are funded continually up until 9/11 and after. Sybil Edmonds, FBI translator, running that the FBI, that the CIA was running Al-Qaeda up until 9/11, till the day. Now the Asia Times, in support of the official United States assertion that Iran is aiming and arming its sworn enemy, the Taliban, the head of the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, Dennis Blair, has cited a statement by a Taliban commander last year attributing military success against North Atlantic Treaty Organization forces to Iranian military assistance. When Mohammad Karzai, the U.S. puppet, says, no, Iran is helping fight the Taliban. That's the Sunni, the opposite of the Shiite Iranian government. What the Taliban commanders claim is contradicted by evidence from U.S. Defense Department, Canadian forces in Afghanistan, and the Taliban themselves, that the increased damage to NATO tanks and Taliban forces has come from anti-tank missiles provided by the United States. So see, how is the United States, people who control us, going to stay in Afghanistan to get the $500 billion a year in opium? They're going to kill our own troops as a pretext to stay there. Real simple. They manufacture the terror.
Finally in the news this evening, it's being reported that cyber spies from Russia and China have now penetrated our power grid. Even as energy experts are reporting that each summer we get closer and closer to the limits of our nation's power grid, some say that this summer's demand for electrical power may finally push the grid over its edge, creating a cascade of power outages across the country, putting us all in the dark.
Are you prepared for the next round of storm-related outages or government-created blackouts? Have you ever thought about taking steps to get off the grid and generate your own private supply of electrical power? If so, this will be the most important information you have ever heard. Solar-powered generators are finally available. They have no moving parts to wear out or break and require absolutely no gas whatsoever. Remember, the government doesn't own the sun, so go to mysolarbackup.com. That's mysolarbackup.com. Check out mysolarbackup.com before you lose your power.
Coming up in just a few minutes, Richard Gage. If you don't know who he is, you're about to find out. Big hit piece attacking him with disinfo, and the entire 9/11 Truth Movement is airing every other day, it seems, premiering last week on the National Geographic Channel. That's coming up in a moment. But I wanted to get into this situation with the president 2 weeks ago. His office, the Department of Education, his education czar, sent out federal mandate to schools taking any federal funds, and we've shown the official letterhead and read it, and the White House doesn't deny that, saying that if you take federal money, you've got to make your school children watch this telecast of the president, literally like 1984 on the big screen projector. In fact, we have an article up on prisonplanet.com, Paul Watson wrote, where it shows Obama as Big Brother. It's over in the News and Focus section if you want to go look at it on the right-hand side of prisonplanet.com. I mean, this is right out of Nazi Germany, Soviet Russia. Now, then they removed those areas of the curriculum saying how you're going to help the president, how you're going to write letters explaining how you're going to serve him, creating this weird relationship with the president, this hyper authority figure reaching out to your kids. This isn't George Bush Sr. giving a 1991 speech saying stay off drugs, stay in school. Then Obama shifts gears, changes the story, and says, well, we're not going to do that now. And then a few days later, they say, we were never going to do it. It's a conspiracy theory. And now he's going to give a milquetoast speech. Don't use drugs. Make good grades. You can be successful. But this is the takeover of education. I mean, we played the clips last week. I've been playing them every week for months. I'm not going to play them again today. You can search engine Barack Obama calls for national security force, just as big, just as strong as our military. And then his White House chief of staff introduced the bill to make everybody from junior high to 65 serve in different brigades with weapons, in uniforms domestically. I mean, you can't make this up. In fact, scroll down for folks that are watching on prisonplanet.tv. It's Indoctrination of Obama Youth in Schools Accelerates is our article. And in the article, we have all the clips right there for everybody, where you can watch the video clips of Barack Obama saying it and doing it, everybody pledging to serve him, and they mix it in with the civil rights movement. It's all very deceptive. And I was just playing Van Jones saying we're going to have total wealth redistribution. And see, there on screen are the youth in the uniforms training and chanting his name. So that's what it is. We're going to Richard Gage in just a moment. Lastly, go ahead and finish up Van Jones. He didn't get kicked out for being a 9/11 truther. He got kicked out for saying, I'm a communist. The green jobs is to take over your life for total wealth redistribution. Here he is, Van Jones.
We're going to push it and push it and push it until it becomes the engine for transforming the whole society.
My guest has been Van Jones, founder and president of Green for...
In fact, back it up about a minute. I want listeners, because we ended the hour with that and we're going right to Richard Gage. I want listeners to hear this, because he already says redistribution of wealth, and then he says incremental takeover, deception. Here it is. Infernal.
That eventually meant that from 1954 to 1968, complete revolution was on the table for this country. And I think that this green movement has to pursue those same steps and stages. Right now we're saying we want to move from suicidal gray capitalism to some kind of eco-capitalism, where, at least we're not, fast-tracking the destruction of the whole planet. Will that be enough? No, it won't be enough. We want to go beyond systems of exploitation and oppression altogether, but that's a process. And I think what's great about the movement that's beginning to emerge is that the crisis is so severe in terms of joblessness, violence, and now ecological threats that people are willing to be both very pragmatic and very visionary. And,
all right. That's enough. The point is he admits they're incrementally doing this with deception. Now, he was already going to have to resign over saying shut down talk radio, get rid of free speech, Republicans are all these cuss words, black supremacist statements about whites being the devil. But then he also signed some 9/11 Truth statement. They're trying to use that to demonize 9/11 Truth and say, oh, look, he's unpopular because of this. No, New York Times poll 3 years ago, 84% believe the government's lying about 9/11. I just read to you 7 of the 10 commission members saying it was a whitewash and a lie, and there needs to be a new investigation. Now,